How's it going, everyone? When we last left off, I was doing some campaign battling, and I was explaining to you guys how everything basically works and the system of it. But now I'm going to take a little bit to show you guys around Bastock in the past, or Bastook, because the opening cutscene calls it that, but I think that sounds fucking retarded, so I'm not going to call it that. So, Bastock is the nation of the humans. Basically, the humans just let everybody do their thing because we got technology, cannons, and guns, and if you fuck with us, we'll just shoot you. That's not really the actual story of Vana'Diel, but that's how I like to portray it. I'm a prejudiced human in this game, hating on everybody else but myself and my people. But the the humans share Bastock with another race known as the Galka, and pretty much the Galka suffered a major crisis throughout the storyline. Their homeland was destroyed by a bunch of ants, basically, and it made them look like a bunch of pussies, even though they're like the bulkiest character you can play in this game. So I was a little disappointed. I was like, you guys got beat by ants. But then again, if you've seen those ants, or if you've like actually come up against them within the game, they're alright for a challenge. I mean, it's not like you're fucking sweating balls whenever you fight them, and you have to be serious or anything, but yeah, it's just a little disappointing that they got beat by that when they're really powerful. I've Some of the best players I've seen in the game have been Galka, and the prefectus of the Bastocken, I believe, were called the seventh cohorts or the fourth cohort. Our prefectus is this Galka up here, Zarzarg, and in the present, he becomes the general for the Salahim Sentinels. No, not Salahim. He becomes the general for what the fuck are those people? I want to say the Mortals, but he's not a. He might be an immortal general, but they're basically the right hand men of the Eastern Empire. The Eastern Empire being Aurg and Whitegate. And so yeah, he pretty much retires from being a badass for Bastock and goes joins the Middle Eastern Front and does war for them, which is pretty shitty. He's a badass. I mean, come back here, you hang out with him for a couple of years, you fight in a war that you somehow got sucked into the past and engaged in, and there he is off in the present, being a dickhead, fighting for some other force. He's a pimp. Anywho, back to exploring Bastock. So, there it is, I've shown you already. This area is known as Bastock Markets. Where I was down below is pretty much the connection point to Port Bastock in the present. But in the past, Port Bastock is where, like, I guess the armies are held and tactics and plans are devised there. Which is also what the Metalworks has been turned into. It's where the presidential office and most things like that are carried out. So all the generals for Bastock receive their orders and carry them out however they've been told. And at the beginning of each week, so like Japanese Sunday, which is like 10 a.m. for me, uh, pretty much the campaign retallies and lets you know who owns what and what the new tactics for your military forces for the week. Um, Over the week, we didn't manage to take another zone, being Pasha Marshlands, which I really don't mind. I kind of hate fighting there because it's always raining, and there's one general in particular who can petrify you, and if you've ever been petrified on this game, it's one of the biggest pains in the ass and just pissed off the whole time. But another really crazy thing happened. I've played this game and I've campaigned a lot of my game time on, like, the time I've spent within this game has probably mostly been campaign because, well, yeah. But a really cool thing is Windurst happened to take over their enemy's main faction headquarters. I've never seen that happen on Carbuncle, at least. So if you've seen this on other servers, you guys are pimps, but I don't know how Carbuncle did that. I mean, not Carbuncle, but the Windurstians. I mean, not more than 2 weeks ago, they had no territories, and now they have everything, including their enemies, home nation. So, those guys are badasses. They did some work. Down here is, nothing special. I mean, you'll do some quests around here if you get into the Crystal Wars storyline or Wings of the Goddess. If you come do Wings of the Goddess, you'll spend some time around here getting some cutscenes. Which brings me to a great point about Final Fantasy XI. If for anything else, the storyline and cutscenes are second to no other MMO. You will never get your money's worth from a storyline and just sheer awesomeness of everything going down like you will from FF11. Chains of Promathia, Rise of Zilart, what was that? Treasures of Out Ergen, and I'm now working on the uh, Wings of the Goddess storyline. I've got those other three completed, but those three just had such amazing cutscenes, and having the music just pumping right behind. I mean, Nabu, I'm probably gonna kill his name, but Nabu Uematsu, I believe. But he is just a fucking genius. Just pumping the tunes, making you enthralled by the story. It's just awesome. If anything, if you want to play a video game for sheer storyline reasons, it's gonna take you a while, but FF11 hands down is one of the top. But then again, most of the Final Fantasy series do have really good storylines. It's just a lot of bullshit to get through them. So, yeah, that's Bastok. When the nation gets attacked, we have to defend this fortress in the middle, but since we're not, everybody's out chilling. So, I'm gonna see if I can go get myself into a battle. See if I can show you guys a little spiffy trick that I can do on Samurai. And, other than that, I'm just gonna drink my coffee and, whoop some ass. So let's do this. So, for some recent news, probably within the past 2 months, there was a few big changes, and it was really interesting to see how everyone would react. But because the character or the player basis of FF11 is decreasing, well, I don't know if it is anymore because it seems like there's a lot of people on nowadays. But they had to merge a bunch of their servers, so I can't remember the full list, and I will be sure to get that to everyone to let you know, like, if you're going to join a server, what servers were merged with one another. But, Carbuncle was lucky enough to be merged with Gilgamesh. And, since then, well, the first week was probably the most brutal because just being on Carbuncle, everybody on, they're good people on here, but, I would say we like to keep to ourselves and do everything like for our own posse. And if you're not a part of that posse, you're just shit to everybody. So when Gilgamesh joined, all the Carbuncle, well, not all of them, but a lot of the Carbuncle people were like, GTFO, we don't want you here. And it was really fun time just seeing how people playing the same game, and it's literally the same setting throughout the entire game, could be so prejudiced to one another from just being on a different server. But I kind of get it because they've all like spent years together and they're like, WTF, why am I here now? So I feel your pain, Gilgamesh, but quit bitching if you are bitching. Let's do some crazy shit. Let's go fight like the Shadow Lord of Dynamis with 4 people right now. If anybody knows what that is, and if you're a badass, we could probably do it. Maybe. So I'm getting myself into a campaign battle. There's some players chilling around, but it's really early right now, so it's probably Japanese prime time. And if I was to try to talk to any of these people, they'd probably just write back in squiggly language, and I don't understand squiggly language. I wish I did understand squiggly language, because then I'd probably be a lot cooler with the squiggly speaking people, but I can't. So they give you a really cool function called auto translate, and you can say there's a lot of crazy things, but pretty much you just type in what you want to say, and if it's close enough to like a variable, it will try to auto translate it into whatever language like you're surrounded by. I think it translates into every language, but it's pretty much how the English speakers communicate with the Japanese, and it's not like they provide the entire dictionary. You get some really rough outlines of trying to be able to communicate with one another. So silent communication and just being a badass at what you do is extremely important in this game. So a lot of order and direction comes from you being able to play your job well. And if you can't do that, then well, you're pretty much boned. But if you can do that, then you're good to go and people are gonna like you. And I showed you my gear last time, but just gonna go back over that. These +2s are the AF3s that I've taken the time to go through Abyssea and fight some NMs being Notorious Monsters, which then dropped items to make my headpiece, for instance, a +1, and then I had to go fight a more difficult monster to get items to make a +2. So in my opinion, the whole AF3 system was very World of Warcrafted out, and a lot of the recent updates have not in a negative way, like, I'm not saying, man, shit's just ruined, but it really oversimplified things. But, a lot of people may disagree with that. I feel that, if you want it easier, go for it. It makes the game more user-friendly, and the community will grow, hopefully. But I think the game just has been notorious through its existence for just being one tough motherfucker. And now that the level cap's 90 and leveling your jobs is extremely easy, you can just... Okay, here's another pretty weird... Well, it's kind of weak. Like, you can go into Abyssea, which is pretty much the only place that partying takes place at in FF11 nowadays, and you can take your level 30, hang out with 17 level 90s, and they can level you from level 30 to level 90 in about a day if you're willing to like hack it out. But if you're just starting your character, well, you gotta do all the GKs. So the GK missions is kind of like the only handicap you have to go through. And if you got a friend or two, or if you meet me on here, GKs are pretty easy. I'll fucking run you through it, slap hands with you, and we'll be friends. But other than that, it's really quick that you can get a high-level job and start exploring this game. So the availability to just get out and see what this game is worth is pretty awesome. And the graphics they're dated, but they always have looked awesome to me. I mean, it's wide open spaces. There's vast distances.